Okay, here we go. The Haskel is stalling. Talked to Dan. He said that the shuttle valve, which is in here, needs to get lubricated, and that's just a matter of putting Dow Corning 111 all over the O-rings in there. Apparently there's two ends. This is not the recommended end. A lot going on over there. Apparently you can get the gibbons out just by taking off this big hex nut. So I'm going to do that carefully and see what falls out. But to start, we've got the air disconnected and it's all drained out. So nothing will go poof when we open it. Wish me luck. Alrighty. The grease that's supposed to be in there looks like a heavy silicone grease. It's clear. And when I took the little gizmo out of here, see a lot of like green tinges. Like, I don't know if that's something growing there from the moisture in the air. And this is the business that I took out of there. Looks like it's got, let me put the headlamp back on. Alrighty. Looks like it has one O-ring here sealing to the outside, like a plastic O-ring. I don't know if this is a flaw in it or if it's just a bunch of plastic rings. It's supposed to be like that, but it's hollow down the center, so it seems like it transfers reference 1 atmosphere into the middle there. So that's what we've got. I'm going to start just by using some shop towels to wipe all the green slime off of this, and then I'll see what else I can get out of there. Doesn't immediately look like that piston wants to come out. I assume there's a piston in the middle of that. So maybe I open the other side and use a tool or something to push it through. We'll see. Okay, I've now cleaned this thing. The O-ring I pulled out of there, it's more of a D-ring now than an O-ring, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back in anyway. Was able to clean those threads pretty well. These little spiral deals are what I pulled out of that gap, and I just sort of spiraled them over onto the shaft so I didn't distort them. I was able to clean all the green gook out from between those. If I pull on the brass shaft inside this, I guess, anodized aluminum thing, it wiggles back and forth about 1 millimeter. It doesn't seem to want to pop out. I think there's a circlip holding it. But I don't think that's part of the shuttle valve. I don't think it does anything. That's just assembly play. So this thing, I guess, is clean and ready to be greased and reinstalled. Next step is to figure out what's going on inside. I guess I'll start by cleaning those threads. They look pretty gross. Alright, that's where I'm at. Okay, so now I've cleaned the threads inside this hole here. I think I see the shuttle valve in there. So to clean the hole that this goes into, I sort of made a giant Q-tip out of a Sharpie and some shop towel. The idea that there's no metal here, so I can't scratch anything inside. But hopefully I can clean some of the gook out. Let's see if this, with the light built into it. Yeah, that's the shuttle valve there. I think that's the shuttle part of it. You can kind of see with it pushed all the way in that it opens up all these holes in the casting. And I guess when it pushes over here, there's a little plastic stop it womps up against. Then of course those holes are cut off. So I'm going to see if I can jam the Q-tip in there and clean all the gook off the side of that shuttle. Alrighty. Yeah, baby, look at all the green slime I pulled out of there. It's more fun than cleaning your ears. And this was only from inside where that little shaft goes. I haven't cleaned the face of the shuttle yet. I'm going to swap this and do another one on the inside. Okay, I've cleaned this side about as well as I can. Go in there, see if we can focus on that bit. Yeah. So I jammed the Q-tip in that center bore until it came out clean, and then wiped the end of it. And even tried to wipe the back side of that little sealing ring it slams up against. So I think this side's ready to put back together. Now, I'm not sure what's behind here, but I'm going to take those 4 Allen screws off and then see if what wiggles and falls out and see if I can make sense of it. I'm not going to mess with that center square bolt until after I've got that cover plate off. I don't know what that plug does. I'm looking at it and thinking about it, and it looks like there's a big fat path of air here to drive this side of the, come on, focus, you can do it, focus, yeah, there, to drive this side of the big cylinder, the low pressure cylinder. There's like an air input, and I'm guessing that there's a direct connection in here of about the same size. So that's fine. We jam air in one side or the other. And when the high pressure is when the drive air is going that way, the piston's going back, and those vents are, you know, the old drive air is getting pushed out into the out, and vice versa. When this side is charged, then the air is going out that way. And we got air in here. Question is, what controls it and makes it turn around? So there's a little hose here, goes around to the middle, and I'm guessing that somehow that's the control signal that tells the shuttle to move. So I don't know if that's gunked up or how or if to clean that. Maybe it'll make more sense once I get this end plate off. But that's the big picture. I'm slowly making sense of it. Alrighty, after the 4 screws come off, there's that end plate, and then there's what looks like a little aluminum spacer plate in there. And under here, there's that bolt, there's a cylinder, and then this little gap here is what the spacer is for. This doesn't look like it just wants to come out on its own. So I'm gonna very carefully remove that center bolt and see what else falls out. Well, that's exciting. I had a wrench on here and I was counting turns, trying to unscrew it, but it didn't really feel like a screw. Then finally it popped out. It looks like it's more of a piston here. It's got a couple of O-rings, air, I guess vent holes, air goes from here to that other thing. Another kind of shaft down the middle, all cruddy. It's got a hole here, it's a through hole, but it's mostly occluded with crap. The light barely gets through, so I'll try and figure out how to clean that. But I'm not sure what this hex is for. It seems to be machined or firmly attached to the cylinder. These 2 holes go to a groove, and I guess that communicates with this little port in here. And looks like there's only one of those. So I don't know if that's an impedance thing. You know, if you line the hole right up, the air goes straight through, and I guess you could turn it 90 degrees to make it flow slower. So that might be some kind of an adjustment, but I don't really know. Oh yeah, and then this looks like maybe the back side of the shuttle, and it's full of crud too. So maybe the shuttle pops out from this side. I can clean that a little more thoroughly. Anyway, I'll keep cleaning and see what happens. Alrighty, this is the actual shuttle. Come on, focus. There we are. I've removed it. It goes in this way, sort of the small hole in first. That's the side I took apart first. So it goes in like that. And that's the interior of the whole gibbons here. Looks like you can see 3 sets of portholes. I guess sort of makes sense. That is the gas to one side of the piston. That's probably gas input there. And that's the other side of the bidirectional piston. So depending on the shuttle, we connect those ports to those, or those ports to those. That's the theory. Oh yeah, to actually get that out, this was the little piston gizmo that's in there, and there's this little urethane ring that was inserted over the end of it that, when it's all put together, I guess acts as a hard stop for the shuttle when it's moving towards this side. So that's the order everything goes back together. Now, just to clean everything, and then lube it and put it together. Oh, hey, found out one other thing. If you take a 11/16 wrench and this little plug here, it's got an O-ring to seal it, and then it looks like a little rubber nipple to seal something, but just by grabbing this here firmly, you can unscrew that. And then this business here, which communicates the air from the inside of the shuttle, can get pushed up. And then there's an O-ring seal, a couple of lateral holes. I guess the stopper is going to go into here. So those little holes there are then communicated to the inside of the shuttle business. And I guess those may or may not line up with those holes. But I now don't think that's an adjustment. I think it's just all supposed to line up and the gas is going to flow. And the purpose of that hex was just to screw that stopper in. But for extra style and brownie points, I'll try and line up all these lateral holes when I reassemble it. Main thing though is just to be able to, I guess, shove this up in order to clean some more. I was wondering how to clean down at the bottom of the shaft, and now I can clean that, and then with it shoved the other way I can clean this end. I don't know if it comes all the way out though. I'm not brave enough to yank on it. But now you know. Okay, this is the shuttle here with the O-rings out and kind of cleaned up. And I noticed that at some point it got dropped, and the end is dinged in here. I know it wasn't me because on the inside there's a burnish mark from where the O-ring was rubbing a little harder. So it's been there a while. I think I have a trick for modifying some of the table clamps for the mill to make a fixture to be able to put this on the mill on a flat surface and put a clamp in there and try and squeeze it straight again. That's for another day. I got to take 2 clamps and modify them, but I have the dimensions. I'll get my dad to help me make it, and then we'll pull this and see if we can repair it later on. Well, that's nice. Listen to that baby purr. Impressive thing is that this is about 12 psi of dry air. So if I run it up to serious pressure, 80 psi, it's looking at much better now.
doesn't do that when it's